Welcome to Revealing the Narc. Join me as I highlight narcissistic traits in celebrities and public figures. Everything here is in my opinion and not professional advice. If you enjoy the analysis, please like and subscribe. In this video, I'm going to talk about this article which recently came out that discusses Prince Harry kind of getting away from under the influence of Meghan Markle, and we'll talk about some of these relationship dynamics. I am not a therapist, so I am just speaking from my own experience being around a lot of narcissists growing up and then being married to one. And yeah, I'm going to approach this with the assumption that Meghan Markle is a malignant narcissist. That's my opinion and allegedly. So let's get into it. This article is titled "No More California Speak. Prince Harry is much happier away from Meghan Markle and her dictated speeches amid Sussex career split." I don't know what that means, California Speak. If any of you know, please drop it in the comments. But really, this article is very anti-Meghan and is kind of funny. So I'll show you a little bit of the funny parts that I observed. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have been married for 6.5 years, but who's counting, right? Doesn't it seem like an eternity? It does to me. Anyways, and during the public whirlwind that is their marriage, Harry has changed from a jolly ex-soldier to a beaten, submissive shadow of his former self, according to a royal insider. In fact, Montecito and Hollywood sources say the new professional separation style is Harry's own idea, which has some Sussex supporters worried the Duke may be ready to move on. So let's talk about this a little bit. So, describing Harry from being a jolly ex-soldier to a submissive shadow, this is something that in my experience, like it happened to me. I was before I married my ex-husband, I was, very happy-go-lucky, and it almost became that I was a shadow or a shell of myself. And the craziest thing is that if you look at pictures of me before him and after him, I look great. And then you look at pictures when I was with him and it's like I don't shine. And I don't know how to describe it exactly, but a great way for you to notice this is Prince Harry himself. It's almost like when I was smiling, there was like nothing back there. And what happened with me was, when you're constantly beaten down, I don't know, it like shifts your aura maybe. If any of you have experience with this, and I'm sorry if you do, please go ahead and drop it in the comments if you feel comfortable. To dig into this a little bit further, it's known that narcissists often dominate their partners emotionally, leading to a gradual suppression of their partner's individuality and confidence. And I think that's what I experienced, and I think that's what we are seeing in Harry. We have seen pictures of Harry prior to meeting Meghan where he seemed outgoing and fun-loving on the outside. Like, I know we don't know what was going on behind the scenes, but definitely on the outside we saw this outgoing behavior, and now under similar situations, when he's in places where he's, allegedly doing charity work. And I mean, that's a whole other story, guys, right? Like his, what I'm talking about is his demeanor, regardless of the work he's doing, if it's actually good or can be considered work. But you can notice now that he is much more subdued. He's like lacking in confidence. And this is really intensified when Meghan is present. So sometimes when he's by himself, he does eventually seem to come out of that shell. But for the most part, in my opinion, Harry has lost his shine. The article continues: when Meghan walked the red carpet in a revolting red dress, and you all know what dress that is. She looked totally defeated and like she had all the motivation knocked out of her, a Hollywood insider dished. They added, she looked almost as if she knew she was losing her grip on her husband, who has been so paramount to her plans all along, I feel. So, doesn't just the wording of this already show how their relationship is viewed? Losing her grip on her husband, that implies that there is this intense control, which we know there is. And if someone is being interviewed and this is how they describe their relationship, and this is someone that's intimate with the couple, or at least, knows the couple enough to give these words to whoever interviewed them, or however the circumstances came out that these words were printed, it's a scary, scary thing, in my opinion. If this assessment is true, that Meghan feels that she's losing her grip on her husband, she may have been trying to reclaim attention through bold statements or appearances, and this would include the gala where she wore the red dress. She might be trying to shine solo as a way to reflect her need to maintain relevance as her influence over Harry wanes. So I think if Meghan looked deflated, which she did a little bit, I would say, she definitely looked out of character, and I don't know, she didn't look great in my opinion. And it could be that she's recognizing, number one, that Harry is being successful solo, and she doesn't like that because it reduces the control she can have over him. And number two, her star is fading fast. I don't know that she could notice that, but there's no way she would take accountability of that, in my opinion. I think she probably feels that the world is against her and it has nothing to do with what she's done, because she is, in her mind, perfect. She is wonderful. She's an empowered woman and she's done all this charity work, and we all know the reality of that. The article continues, as for the ex-actress, Hugo Vickers, who is a royal historian, observed, I do think that when they're together, she seems to be the one who's sort of moving the dialogue on. She seems to be the one with the voice, and he seems to be sort of meekly following in her wake. And you know he may not like that so much. We have seen this time and time again. She speaks for Harry all the time. How many times have we heard her said, this is how my husband feels? I've made a couple of video clips about that. She speaks for him. She silences him a lot. And when, in my opinion, when she believes it's her turn to speak and he's speaking, she gives him such an intense stare. I don't know, in my opinion, that must be uncomfortable, and probably, he wants to stop speaking when someone is staring at him like that, especially when it's his own wife. Narcissists often try to control conversations and steer public narratives in order to maintain their image and authority. They also like to be the center of attention, so it's not surprising that Meghan is usually the one that's taking over conversations whenever Harry is present and she speaks for him. We've seen her do this over and over again, and it results in overshadowing Harry. It leaves him passive, it leaves him secondary, and this is part of, in my opinion, the devaluing process, because he's been so reduced, he doesn't really have an identity. It reminds me of how the number one answer on Family Feud, when they're asked, who is Prince Harry? He's married to Meghan Markle. Like, that's his identity. That's how people recognize him now. And a lot of it, in my opinion, is due to seeing them interact. Meghan is constantly the one that's in front, that's speaking for him specifically. It's definitely, hard to observe, in my opinion, especially when you've lived through something like that as well. The article continues, furthermore, the sorry if I pronounced that wrong, haired Duke's life in California is apparently not what he truly wants, as the wayward prince is reportedly trying to avoid the urge to move back to Britain. And this is surprising. We don't know that this is true or not, and basically everything in this article, we don't know that it's true. We can only say what our eyes have shown us, right? A lot of these tabloid articles, they come from sources, and who knows where these sources are coming from, who knows if they're paid or not. But it's important for us to analyze it, assuming that it's true, because we can try to apply it to our own lives. Like, we have to, if we are sitting here and disagreeing about the validity of the argument or the article, then we're not really spending time on analyzing the potential behavior and seeing how this could look in the real world for someone like you or me. And I hope it's not happening to any of you. So usually what a narcissist will do is they'll isolate their partner from their support system. It's a classic narcissistic trait. And Harry, being so physically distant from the UK, I mean, he's also emotionally distant as well, as most of those relationships have ended. it reflects Meghan's efforts to ensure that he is relying on her. That's part of the goal of isolating their partner when you're in a narcissistic relationship. So this narrative of Harry cutting ties with the royal family could reflect Meghan's influence and efforts to keep him emotionally dependent on her. And I think that's completely true. He's not only emotionally dependent on her, he's also, if he wants to talk about the intricacies of his relationships, he doesn't have anyone to talk to about them, and anyone that's in his corner to talk to about them. Because if you've ever had a friend that has been going through something like this, they need someone to talk to, because they are so blinded to the narcissist's action. It's only when they talk to someone else that they could recognize, oh my gosh, this is not healthy behavior. I'm not in a loving relationship. So because they're so, I don't know, when they're in it, they just don't see it, right? It takes someone on the outside to really see how toxic a situation could be. So that's another goal of the isolation, to prevent the partner from recognizing that this is not normal behavior. Yeah, so I'm going to end the video here. I'm interested to know what you all think about this. If this was interesting to you, please like and subscribe. Please share it with your friends. Please share it with people that you think may know someone who is in a relationship like this, because I think it's so important for us to understand how these dynamics could look, because unless you've lived it, it's very difficult to understand. The narcissist's actions are incredibly subtle. It's very difficult to put words to the actions that are done, and that's done on purpose, because you don't even know what's going on around you. You don't know day from night, and you question your own reality, you question your gut feelings. Oh my goodness, it is a very difficult situation to be in. Yeah, so if this was interesting to you, please like and subscribe, and I will talk to you all soon. Goodbye.